What's poppin' YouTube? My name is Quinn and I am the coach of the Coal Valley Cobalion. And I am ecstatic to be recording this video because it means that I have finally gotten all the equipment I need to begin playing Wi-Fi Draft League. Now, this will not be it will be my first full Wi-Fi Draft League, but I have played in the BVR Summer Scramble, which is still going on currently. And I've got my toes dipped into the water, so I've played 3 games on Wi-Fi. I'm getting the hang of it a little bit, so it might not be a super smooth transfer from Showdown because it is very different, but I've been playing Showdown Draft League for 5 years now. I've got a handle on most of the basics of Draft League. It's just going to be those things like not having the percentages on there, not having the Pokemon on the side of the screens for me. Obviously, there's ways to check that. It's just going to be about keeping track of everything, keeping track of number of recovery moves, items, yada yada yada, stuff that's not shown in game that is shown on Showdown. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to at least do okay. I'd like to make playoffs. Obviously, everyone wants to, but whatever we can get, I want to get started. I'm ready. I'm super excited. The 3 Wi-Fi games I have played have been fucking awesome, and just the entire environment is so different from Showdown, and it's kind of reinvigorating me wanting to play draft because I was kind of on a dead spot on Showdown for the last like 2 or 3 months. So I'm excited to kind of get back into things a little bit more. Anyways, this is the MBC, the Master Battle Circuit, commissioned by my friend Inevitable Will and Togavor. Now, this is a 24-person league, 2 divisions with 12 coaches each. There's a 9-week regular season in which you will play people within your division. So there will be 2 coaches in my division I will not be playing. The top 6 of those 12 coaches in each division will be making the playoffs, with the top 2 receiving a bye, and the playoffs are formatted in a cross-division format, meaning that if I were to make playoffs, I would not be playing someone I had played in the regular season. It would be someone from the other division, the Days division, as I'm in the Malice division. This league is based off of the 2 Zoroark farms, as you will see from when the next slide has the logo on it, so you'll be able to see it then. You've seen it from the thumbnail. I'm sure I have the thumbnail. I have the logo. But anyways, there's 115 points for 10 and 12 Pokemon, which is standard pretty much. Like the point value slight they differ slightly. Same with the number of Pokemon. I'm used to more like a 9 to 11 scale, but like 10 to 12 is not that much of a difference. With 23 points for Terra Captains. Now, these Terra Captain points are completely separate from the 115 points you have to draft. So you could draft a 15 point and an 8 point Captain from the Terra board, and they cost like 12 or 13 points from the regular board, depending on what you grabbed. Mine, for instance, is a 15 and 8 point on the Terra board, but on the regular board, I have an 8 pointer and a 3 point Terra Captain, so it only costs actually 11 from my 115 budget, which is nice. It just allows you to get better Pokemon around them. And those Terra Captains have to choose 3 Terra types, which is something completely new to me. Every draft league I've been in has been free Terra on that Terra Captain, whether it be preview or just free Terra in general. Like, you don't have to say anything. So it was cool having to like sit through and think about a bunch of different scenarios of what I would be wanting to bring. And I'm pretty happy with what I've decided. One of them has to be a stab, and then the other 2 can be any Terra type, any type that you want. They just have to be obviously picked out before the season, or like they have to be changed. Which I believe it's 1 free Terra swap, and then anything after that costs a transaction. But I honestly could be wrong. I'm not positive on that. Anyways, as you can see from the thumbnail, my first overall pick is Hisuian Samurott. Now, I had the 10th overall pick out of 12, which is a interesting spot to be. I would rather be back at 10 out of 12 than to be somewhere like a 6 or maybe not 6, like 7 or 8, just because it means that I have picks closer to each other. I can like work closer together. At this point in the draft, the only Pokemon I was interested in using out of the top tiers that were left were Hisuian Samurott and Baxcalibur. I was obviously, my brain's telling me to go Baxcalibur because it's just like, in general, it's a better Pokemon, but I feel like Hisuian Samurott's abilities to set up its teammates super well. Any cleaners, like, it's amazing with cleaners. You automatically get up spikes with Cecil's Edge. It's amazing. And then it's strong enough on its own to put up a huge threat. Obviously, 108 attack is not a lot, but sharpness, which adds a 1.5 time boost to any cutting moves, as in Ceaseless Edge, Aqua Cutter, and Sacred Sword, which are three of its three most common moves, other than you have like Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, and now it has Flip Turn, which is really nice. Um, it's amazing at setting up its partners, which is kind of what I wanted to build around. So that cost us 14 points. We still have 101 points going through. And my second overall pick, which was like 15th overall, I think, is Tornti. Now, some people think this is a round 1 mon. In Gen 8, it's absolutely a round 1 mon. It's honestly probably a top 3 mon in the format, but without Defog, without Toxic, it lost a lot of its utility. It did get knockoff back after the DLC, which is amazing for it. And I'm very excited to try it out with Bleakwind Storm. I don't believe I've used it in Gen 9 at all because of all of the things that it lost. I just haven't had a team that used its services, needed its services. But obviously, Regenerator is one of the best abilities in the game. It's fucking nuts. You get 33% off on 33% health back on switch in. Again, it has knockoff, it has taunt, it has nasty plot with Bleakwind Storm, Hurricane. If depending on the matchup, you might need the 10 extra base power. Heat Wave, Focus Blast, even Icy Wind if you're running into like a Landorus or a Garchomp that you like really want the coverage for, or just the speed control in general. And it does have Tailwind, which is also something that is usable, though it's not super common. I think that this mon is going to benefit greatly from the spikes that Hisuian Samurott set up, and I just think that having it is a slower pivot into this thing, which is awesome for it. Hisuian Samurott is not slow; it's 85 speed, but it's not like the top tier speed tiers. So you're gonna out underspeed a lot of mons. You're gonna outspeed the bulkier mons though and kill them, which is nice. So going through to the third round, this is like the 34th or 35th overall pick or something like that. I think it's 34th. Anyways, I was kind of surprised this mon came back to me because I really like using this mon. Obviously, without Terra, it's not as good, but it's still fucking nuts. Like Sneasler is so stupid. It hits so hard. Like you can easily run a Scarf for Bandit set. It can just win by itself with Unburdened sets, whether it be with Fling or you have Air Balloon. You have like normal gem Fake Out. You have what else can it run? It can run like Seeds, which obviously this team as you'll see, I do not have terrain for it, but I don't necessarily plan on running it Unburdened a ton. But obviously the matchup is entirely dependent because Unburdened is fucking amazing. But so is Poison Touch with Dire Claw and Close Combat, and then it's got U-Turn, Rock Slide. It's got fucking it doesn't have knockoff. It doesn't have elemental punches. What the fuck else does it even get? It gets Night Slash is the other big thing, but like it has good enough coverage to hit most things. Poison Fighting is such a hard type to switch into unless you're no, I was gonna say Fairy, but that's just wrong. Oh, it's a Poison type. Yeah, Poison type switch into it, but it's super hard. 130 attack, 120 speed. It is almost the same speed tier as Torn, which was a little bit on the fence about, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. I'd rather double up on top speed tiers than double up on middle speed tiers like in the 80s and the 90s and shit, which I did end up doing as well. But momentum as well, like this mon is just insane. Fourth overall. Now this is a bit of an early pickup, but I wanted to guarantee the Terra Captain I wanted. Now this was not the best Terra Captain on the board. That was by far Torterra, which realistically should have been banned, and I thought we had talked about it. They had been talked about banning it, and then it just ended up not being banned, I guess. But so I got Delphox. Now, as you can see, it costs 15 Terra points, as I said previously. It costs 8 points out of our total budget, and then I chose Fairy, Fire, and Grass. Fire is a stab. It's Fire Blast is super spammable, so it's like Overheat, Flamethrower. Like Psychic's not bad, but I just think Fire is way more spammable. Fairy typing is really nice for it because it does have Stab, Dazzling Gleam. Obviously, it's the same base power as Terra was. I think Dazzling Gleam, no, it's got 10. So yeah, they have the same base power. I think Fairy is just one of the best Terra types in the game, offensively and defensively, so it gives it a lot more versatility in what it's capable of doing. And then Grass typing, it allows it to kill waters and grasses really easily, or not waters and grasses, waters and grounds really easy, which obviously threaten it as a fire type. It also resists both of those types, which is nice. I did think about electric, but I decided on grass because again, it deals with the waters and grasses. The waters and grounds way better than what electric typing would do. It also has a Nest block called mine. It's got a lot set of options. It's bulky enough to run a like bulkier like AV set or something like that. And then it also has not Calm Mind. It has flame charge to boost its speed. So I think it has a lot of options for us, and I'm really excited to use it. It's not a mon I've ever had to use. I never had the chance to use before. I think this is probably the best time to use it because of the low tier Terra. It's one of the better mons that it has that is allowed to use it in most scenarios. My next pickup was Sandy Shocks. Now, this is also not a mon I've really had a chance to use before, but it is very cool. It has 101 speed, which is like your 100 base speed, obviously your most common, but your outspeed those base 100s. And then you got 120 special, 121 special attack with really solid natural bulk across the board. You have spikes, which this pairing with Hisuian Samurott means it does not have to click spikes, which is one of the reasons I wanted it was because it is a natural rock setter, which I did not have yet. But it also gives me another really good pivot. It's another really strong mon overall. I do not have anything to kill like water type yet, other than a grass type. Delphox, obviously this thing is weak to water type moves, but it does pressure them very hard because it's faster than a lot of the more common bulkier ones, and it obviously hits pretty hard with the 121. It also has the ability to run booster energy because it is a paradox Pokemon. It can run screens. It has decent coverage. It's got flash cannon and it's got power gem, which is it has tri attack too, which are all solid options just for like a neutral coverage or like a super effective depending on the matchup. Like if there's something like a Gliscor, he can run like Terra Blast, like or not Terra Blast, tri attack, I guess. I don't think Gliscor was picked up in my division, but I could be remembering wrong. Regardless, I think it just fits really well alongside my first four. That leaves us with 47 points left for what's this? It's 5 to 7 captains, or not captains, Pokemon in general. I decided with my next pick. This is also another early pickup, but I wanted the Brambleghast. Brambleghast got Poltergeist, and that's enough for it to be really fucking good. That's and like it isn't another mon that can set spikes. That does not need to set spikes because of the Samurott, which I think is great. Granted, you're not ever going to run spikes on a Brambleghast when you have Sandy Shocks, but it's still just another like box checked off essentially. It clicks Rapid Spin, which is the biggest reason it is here. It is my only remover on this team due to Torn not getting defog this gen. It again, Poltergeist is really good. It has strong offensive options. You have Poltergeist, you have Power Whip. It's got good bulk options because of Strength Sap. Strength Sap's a really fucking good move. Leech Seed also has good longevity on it. There was something else I was thinking of that this thing can do. What was it? Am I just not gonna get it? I don't think I'm gonna get it. Oh, Wind Rider. Yes. So if you wanted to run Wind Rider with a Torrentine Tailwind set, I could definitely do that, and that's definitely something that could potentially come in one of our games this season. I have not looked at any matchups. I don't know when that would be, but that would be very funny if I could make it work, and I definitely will consider it if there is a matchup that is suitable for it, because I think that Wind Rider is a very good ability, and I think it's very funny on this thing. But yeah, like I think just Brambleghast it's a little bit underpriced. I tried to get it moved up to 7. It was originally 5, so I did upbid myself a little bit, but realistically, with that 1 point, I was not going to get anything that was crucial to upgrading this team just based off of what was left. But my next pickup, which is honestly, I was shocked that this mon was still around because it's a brand new mon from the DLC. Because I already have a grass type, I don't need this mon to do any typical grass type things other than maybe killing waters. I decided to pick up Ogrefon Cornerstone. Now, obviously, as a grass type, this mon does not resist ground or water, but I do have Brambleghast, so I'm not as worried about it doing this. The main reason I wanted this Pokemon was because it gives me a really solid breaker overall. I have decent enough options in like a banded Sneasler or a Specs, Delphox, or something like that, something along those lines. Like they're strong enough to pose a huge threat just with a boosting item in general. But Ogerpon having that base 100 cudgel, Iron Ivy cudgel, that is rock type, it is essentially Stone Edge that cannot miss. Well, it can miss, but like it's 100 accuracy. If it's not an accuracy boosting mon, which is illegal, or an evasion dropping move like a defogger shit. No. Accuracy dropping on my end or evasion boosting on their end, which are both illegal. Like it's gonna hit and it's gonna fucking hit hard, and that's the main reason. Again, 110 speed does fill out my speed tiers pretty well. It gets me from Delphox to Sneasler, which just allows shit like what is a 119 mon? Is Halucha's 118? Is there Cinderace? Yeah, Cinderace is 119. Okay, so it makes Cinderace run jolly, but I'm pretty sure the way that the math works, it has to run it anyways because of the 104, like the weird. Regardless, it's just nice filling out speed tiers. It's a rather bulky mon, so it has the ability to set up as SDs pretty well. Has good coverage, knockoff, play rough, stopping tantrum, superpower. So it's good coverage. It has leech seed, it has U-turn. It's got a lot of utility to it. I'm excited to be able to use it and put it to good work. My next pick was a trade. I wanted this mon originally, and we put together a failed coup to stop Zangoose from getting the Sunsetters. He would have to give Vulpix. It completely failed and backfired on us. So I ended up still getting the Pokemon that I wanted in the trade, which was Bronzong. Now, Bronzong gives me a solid backbone defensively that can work well with a lot of the mons here. I have a lot of momentum to get Bronzong in to take hits, a lot of fast momentum. So like Torn, Ogerpon, Sandy Shocks, Sneasler all can click U-turn and bring in the Bronzong to take the hit for them, depending on the situation. Bronzong has rocks, which is nice because my only other rock setter so far is Sandy Shocks. I think that's my only other rock setter on the entire team. I only have Sandy Shocks and Bronzong, but those are both very solid, and I'm pretty comfortable with both of them running rocks most weeks, depending on the matchup, or if I even need rocks, because there are some matchups where rocks are just not that beneficial. Like spikes are just better, which is why Samurot's so great. Regardless, it has it did lose Toxic. That is the big thing it lost, but it still has Iron Defense Body Press. It still has like Future Sight. It has like you can run curse sets, I suppose. I think it gets curse. That could be cool, like curse, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, shit like that. Solid coverage overall. It's just a good Gloomon. It helps the team take hits if it pulls the team together, which is really nice. My next pick is another big hitter. Something I'm not that surprised fell because it's not a mon that's drafted super often, but it is a very good Pokemon. That's Salamence. Obviously Salamence base 100 speed tier, so we're kind of crowding up that 100 area, but I'm not super worried about it. I'd rather crowd up the top speed tiers and then lose to Trick Room, just because that is a lot less common than it is to have a bunch of fast mons. So I would rather be one of the fast teams that loses to Trick Room than I would be one of the slow teams that cannot outspeed anything. Obviously, Salamence has a lot of offensive and defensive potential. Offensively has Dragon Dance, which is huge threatening. It's one of the few mons that kept dual wing beat before the DLC, so it still has dual wing beat, which is nice. Dragon coverage. You have special fire coverage. You have Hurricane for special sets. You have Draco, Earthquake. You have all the elemental fangs, I believe. Granted, Ice and Electric are the only usable ones because you have. Well, I guess you could use physical Fire Fang, but I feel like defensively it has a lot of potential as well. Does not get. Did it ever get healable? I don't think so. It still has Wish. It's bulky. It has bulky enough. It has good natural bulk. It has Intimidate. You can run Rocky Helmet on it. You can run Boots on it to not take rocks. You can run late leftovers or like a berry. Like Yachi Berry is good for setting up. Roselli Berry is good for setting up. And then obviously it has Roost for reliable recovery, so it has the potential to be both offensive and defensive at in any week, which just gives it a lot more chances to show up and do something, which is really nice. If you're gonna pay a bunch of points for Pokemon, you want it to be something that has the ability to come every week, which is exactly what excuse me. My next pick is actually my next Terra Captain, and that's Bruxish. Now, Bruxish did get flip turn. I don't know if it got Swords Dance or if it already had Swords Dance, but Swords Dance is very funny on it. I could have gotten Terra Basculin at the same price, but Terra Bruxish is just way funnier. I don't think I've ever seen Bruxish get drafted, and the additions of Flip Turn and Swords Dance were enough to sway me. Like, realistically, was this the best pick? Absolutely not. Basculin is in the same point tier again, and it's just better in almost every way, other than I guess it has a lower base attack because it's got 92 compared to 105. But the defenses are like slightly lower. It can run actually, I don't know if it's the White Stripe one. I think it's all the forms. So the White Stripe one can run a Violite. But the biggest thing is it has significantly better abilities, obviously. But Bruxish does have a secondary Stab and Psychic, which is nice. I have 3 Psychic types on this team, but 2 of them are Terra Captains and are never going to be Psychic other than the first turn they're in. So, well, I guess if there's a situation where I don't want to Terra it, but chances of that are honestly pretty low. Like, if Delphox or Bruxish come, they're probably clicking Terra the first turn, unless there's like a weird scenario where it's beneficial for me to not. But it did do Wave Crash as well. So Terra Water, Wave Crash, Flip Turn, Liquidation. It has solid coverage. It has Crunch. It has Psychic Fangs, which is not actually coverage, but like it's a good move. Break Screen, which is nice. All the Elemental Fangs, I believe. And then it has Bulk Up, Swords Dance. It has a lot of options. Is it the best mon? No. Is it a funny mon? Absolutely. So obviously Water type is because of the Flip Turn. The Water type is just really good. Flip Turn, Wave Crash. Fighting allows it to break through Steel types, which it does not have any coverage to either. Otherwise, Fire also helps with that. And then I didn't really have a third type, so I just chose Fire off of recommendation. I didn't really have a reason other than, I guess, defensively it's fine. Fire's a solid defensive type. If it comes to it, like maybe it can help me set up in front of a grass type or something. Oh, it kills grasses. That's right. Fire kills grasses because this thing's coverage isn't. I mean, not enough coverage. It obviously grasses kill water types. So Fire does help with that. My next pick was also a free agency pickup, not because I didn't want it originally, but because it got stolen from me and then dropped. So next pick's Wigglytuff. Is Wigglytuff coming to a game? I think I definitely could. I've brought it before, and it's a solid mon. Like, obviously, 140 base power wishes are nothing to scoff at, especially when you do have a Bronzong on the team that really likes those wishes, and other, like, just in general, like, wish is such a good move. Like, you're, especially on a high HP mon like this, like, I can get my Hisuian Samurai down from a Focus Sash, probably up to around, like, 70% off of a fucking Wigglytuff wish. Like, obviously, I don't specifically know, but, like, that calc, but based off of the situation, I could probably get something close to that. It's a fairy type. There was no usable fairy in 3 that I can recall. This also gives me a bulky normal, which is nice for like Hisuian Zoroark, Dragapult, Spectre. Will it come into those mons? Dragapult probably. The rest maybe not. But it just gives me the option, which I like. Actually, I lied. This thing does get Stealth Rock as well. You're hardly ever running it, but this does get Stealth Rock. It also has really good coverage. An 85 special attack is not terrible. Like, it's at least usable enough to break subs on mons that do not resist Dazzling Gleam. Except for, like, obviously super bulky mons, but it wouldn't break it anyways. And then my last pickup, this one, it's a 1-pointer. I did not pick this one up out of necessity. I picked it up out of want. It's Hisuian Zora. Number 1, this mon's adorable. Number 2, imagine the mind games of bringing a Hisuian Zora with Hisuian Samurott, Torn, Sneasler, like Ogre Pond Cornerstone, and Salamence. That sounds like hell to play, and that's why I think it's so funny. Do I think it comes to a game? Maybe. If there's a matchup for it, it has usable stats. Like, obviously, the bulk isn't anything. It's going to die to pretty much any hit if it's not a Focus Sash. But 70 speed is not terrible, and 85 special attack is usable enough. So if there could be a matchup where this comes, is it likely? No. But I will never say something out of the possibility, because if there's a situation where I'm already in or out of playoffs, and we're on the last week, I might just bring Hisuian Zora just to bring it because I think it's fucking hilarious. Anyways, that is the team. I do not have I did not put together a slide with all of them on it. With all of the Pokemon on it. I probably should have done that, but this is good enough. You can see all the Pokemon here. You've been listening to me for the last, I don't know, probably fucking 25 minutes, however long this is. So you know what we have. Week 1 is against Jetman and the Australian Arcanines. That's being played in a few hours as of recording this. So by the time you see this, we will have already played Week 1. The Week 1 game will come out next Sunday, October 22nd. That is, there's not an official upload day, but they have to be up by that day. So I would rather just give myself as much time as possible to work on potentially editing a video if I were to put a bunch of time into it, which I am going to entirely see how the editing software is because I've not used it fully yet. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is Quinn signing off.